Well, I hope, can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. Again, sorry about that, guys. My name is Chubster. Welcome to Let's Talk Magic. This is episode number 15. Now, please bear with me because before we started the program, I encountered some minor technical problems. My camera went haywire. Well, I don't know what's going to happen right now. But anyway, welcome to Let's Talk Magic. Well, it's a 5 in the afternoon episode, well, not from the usual 10 p.m. But again, thank you very much for joining me. And don't forget to please do like and share the Facebook stream. Again, we are broadcasting off Chubster Flores Productions. Well, for today's episode, we have two guys who are all the way from Waikiki, Hawaii, and they are the Conjurers of Waikiki. Well, we'll be meeting with them later on. In the meantime, how are you guys doing? Well, I hope you guys are here for the broadcast. Again, it's a 5 p.m. broadcast. And of course, I have to, how shall I say this? I have to adjust to the time of our guests because they're just doing me a favor. And I thank them for doing this interview. And I'll talk to them more about that. Plus, oh, by the way, last week, last Monday, that is, the Magicians Foundation Incorporated, which is IBM Ring 322, they celebrated their 31st anniversary, and there was a an anniversary show with performances coming from some of the members. Of course, most shows are pre-recorded as we don't want to have any problems. Yeah, like what I encountered a while back, technical problems happening during their performances or during the broadcast, and of course, copyright issues with regards to the music. Well, anyway, hats off to the MAGFI president, Alan Soriano, and of course, to Secretary RJ Clemente for coming up and putting up such a wonderful event despite the pandemic. Of course, we are, well, the new normal for the magic community is, of course, having Zoom meetings, Zoom performances, Zoom conventions, and all like that. But anyway, aside from that, let me mention that our friends from MAGFI will also be having, aside from actually it's Magfi's anniversary month, the month of May, and to cap off their anniversary month this coming Monday, we will be, or they will be having, of course, a lecture coming from Magic Mike Applegate. So this will be, of course, an online magic lecture. Hold on. There you go, an online magic lecture from Mike Applegate. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I see. I told you my camera, something's wrong with my camera right now. So I don't know if you guys can hear me, but anyway, I don't know what's happening with my microphone. Hold on. What a perfect time to have a problem. See, I told you these are technical concerns or problems that I'm encountering as of the moment. So again, please bear with me. I don't have any camera as of the moment. Wow. To my guest, I'm sorry this is happening during your time or during your guesting. My bad. Hold on. Let me see what I can come up with over here. Please bear with us, guys. I am online. I am just having problems with the broadcast. Hold on. Let me see if I can work things out now. Hold on. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back in like 1, 2, 3. There you go. Okay. Again, sorry about that. I don't know what's happening with my connection right now. I don't know if I'm having connection problems, but from what I know, my connection is good. I also restarted my camera. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, sorry about that, guys. I'm very, very sorry. Okay, let's go back to what I'm talking about a while back. Okay, again, ayan, here we go. Another one na naman. Ay. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening with my connection, with my camera? Wow, wait a minute. Okay, guys, I seem to be having a problem. I don't know what's happening. Let me, hold on. Hold on. can still wait. Sorry about that, guys. I hope you can hear me. Again, wow, I'm very, very to our two distinguished gentlemen. I don't know. I'll try to make it up with you during the interview. I hope I won't get cut one more time. I think there's something wrong with the camera that I'm using as of the moment. Please bear with me. Anyway, let's go ahead. You know what? Let's do the interview right now where my camera is active. But anyway, again, this is Let's Talk Magic, episode number 15. Welcome everyone. Again, I'm very sorry for what's happening. My bad, my bad. And for those of you guys who are joining in for tonight, so for today's afternoon's episode, we have Mr. Darren Lee, who's watching all the way from UK. Of course, we have Mr. Robert LaRue, who is watching all the way from Pampanga, Angeles City. We also have Jojo Gonzalez. Hi, Jojo Perez Gonzalez. We also have, the mic. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. You can hear you. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Okay. You know what? I'm panicking already. Relax, Chubster, relax. Okay. So, anyway. Guys, like what I've mentioned a while back, we will be having, of course, the Wizard of Waikiki or the Conjurers of Waikiki. Well, let me just take out this comment over here from Mr. LaRue. Yeah, thank you very much for joining in. Okay, you know what? Let's go get done with this interview. My first guest for this afternoon is, of course, one of Hawaii's kid show entertainer. He's been a frequent visitor of Manila and, of course, performing during medical missions in Silay in Bacolod. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a good friend of mine, the past president of the SAM in Hawaii. Put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Dr. Magic, Glen Bailey. Glen, good afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk Magic.
Aloha from Hawaii.
Aloha, Glen. Well, first of all, sorry, man. I'm very, very sorry this has been happening. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, how are you, Glen? And how's Hawaii right now?
I'm doing well. We're starting to open up a little bit. Some tourists are returning, but the international ones are not. And as far as performing opportunities, very limited. We still don't have the big parties and that type of thing that we would normally perform at here. So it's opening slowly. We don't know how long it'll take to get back to normal, but my estimation is about a year.
Well, anyway, good to know that things are going back slowly in Hawaii. And again, Glen, thank you very much for joining us for this interview. Let's Talk Magic. Okay, my next guest, I'll put you backstage first, man. My next guest is, of course, he is known as the Wizard of Waikiki. He has released lots of DVDs, and of course, he's got a new product out in the market right now. Please put your hands together for the one and only, the Palms of Steel guy, Mr. Curtis Cam. Curtis, good afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk Magic.
Aloha, Manila, and everybody else that's out there. It's good to see you, Chubster. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. And again, sorry for what's been happening during the broadcast. But how are things back in Hawaii? And how are you doing, sir?
I think Glenn was right. We're starting to reopen. We are also getting used to performing on Zoom. I've got a few shows. It turns out that I heard it explained best by someone who said that now my theater is as big as the world. And if you do perform, if you figure out how to perform on camera, you can perform anywhere. And a lot of people are actually having a better year than they did before because they're now more accessible and affordable to everybody.
And of course, like what they mentioned, this is the new normal when it comes to performing. Again, like what Glenn mentioned a while back, things are going back slowly. Things are going back normally in a normal way back in your place. But I think here in Manila, it will be a long, long time before we get back to our performing area. But anyway, again, guys, first of all, I would like to thank you both of you guys for agreeing to do the interview. It's a pleasure. The only sad part is, sorry for what happened during the earlier part of the broadcast. Well, this is internet era. You know how Philippine internet connections are compared to your country.
It's not the first time it's happened, even in America.
Wow. Anyway, again, thank you very much. So, Glenn and Curtis. First of all, Glenn, last time you were in Manila was 2019. Am I correct?
Correct. That I was
And
there with the Medical Commission in March.
mm, and how was it? How was your last time in Manila? Did you went to some of our local beaches or what?
No, I spent most of my time with you and
What?
the Magic Club.
Shh, quiet.
Yeah, if you remember correctly, that was the 2-minute quick trick contest we did at IMC,
Yes,
and
yes.
that was a first. It is actually a contest that Curtis and I put in our magic convention we had here in Hawaii many years ago, and it was a very popular contest. So I brought it to Manila, and I think we had, what was it, 28 to 30 contestants, which is
Mm-hmm.
only it's only 60 minutes of magic at 2 minutes each. But we had a lot of fun that night, and good judging, and I think everybody seemed to enjoy it. I was really looking forward to bringing it again last year, and of course, COVID put a stop to that. But I had a great time with all my friends at the IMC and putting that on. And that same year, I also did a contest in Bacolod for the
Mm-hmm.
Bacolod magicians, and several of them came in from other areas. We had Godwin Gonzalez from
Yes.
Iloilo, and many other magicians from the Southern Islands that came by ferry boat and motorcycle and everything else to come that night. And we had a great time doing a contest in the Central Philippines. So besides doing the medical mission, I got a lot of magic in.
And maybe
With
the next time you visit Manila, you can bring in maybe Curtis if he's free, so you can take him around and maybe meet some of the fellow magicians here in Manila. But so Curtis, you're a big name. I mean, yeah, you're a big name in magic, obviously. Okay, the thing is, how did you get started into magic? Okay, I don't know if someone already asked that question during prior interview, but that's my always first question to all my guests. How did you get started in magic? And I won't be asking for the age. Just let me know. How did you get started in magic? First of
Yeah,
you, first off, yes.
I got started, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old. I have a younger brother, and the way I tell the story, and he may have a different remembrance, but the way I tell the story is that he was very shy. My parents thought that he would be a little more comfortable talking to people if he
Mm-hmm.
learned magic, and they found Jimmy Yoshida, who was running the magic shop in Honolulu, and he was also teaching classes. And I would take the bus down to downtown with him and be there and to work with him with the tricks, reading the books and that kind of thing. And I got interested into it. I've always been sort of a nuts and bolts kind of guy. I always wanted to figure things out. I like puzzles and things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
making things. And the magicians who were just getting started at about that time were closer to my age, and I just kind of fell
Okay.
in with a bad crowd, and we used to perform all over the place after a while. And that's kind of how I got into it, really. It was Jimmy and his classes, and just being around the shop and being around magic.
First of all, a special shout out to Mr. Willie Chen, who's watching all the way from Hawaii. Thank you very much for watching and for
Yeah,
staying up late. I know it's almost 11:30 back there. So again, thank you very much. And
yeah.
uh,
Willie is one of our cyber magic superstars.
whoa.
Brown Ferrari put on that contest, and Willie was in the
Mm.
top 100, and he was featured. And it's been a pretty good quarantine for Willie. He's done pretty well.
Well, Willie, nice to meet you. I hope I can have you here in my show. Anyway, Willie, thank you very much. And of course, we have lots of greeters over here. Froylan is watching all the way from New Zealand. He is well, from New Zealand, of course. I don't know if you still remember Mark Raven Glen. He is from the how should I say stable of Tito Chris Castro. I don't know if you remember Tito Chris. But anyway, how about you, Glenn? Of course, we are both kid show entertainers. Now, aside from that, you are also a close-up magician like Mr. Curtis here. But the thing is, okay, is it close-up magic or children's magic first for you? Which one
half
works
and
best for you?
half and half. I consider doing restaurant magic, close-up magic, as also performing for kids. But sometimes you go to a table and it's only adults.
Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, by the encouragement of Carol Fox, who saw the draft, I wrote a book called Performing Tableside Magic for Children. And I used that in my lecture that I've done there in Manila, and I did it in Macau and also in Japan. And as I've traveled around the country, I've done probably 6 or 7 times I've done my lecture of performing tableside magic for children. So I got into magic when I was first in 1980. I was in Japan with the Air Force, and I met a magician who was performing near my base called Jack Nikita. I don't know if you ever met Jack Nikita or saw his show. It was a fantastic stage show at a local resort. And the second night I went after his show and knocked on the stage door and asked him if he would be my magic teacher. You know what he thought. He's going to teach me one trick. He'll never see me again. I went every single night for 3 months. And then he left and came back, and I went every single night for another 3 months. And that's how I got my start in magic, by studying under the great Jack Nikita from Japan.
So,
and my first experience in Manila of seeing a magician was on a trip there, and I saw way before I met you guys, Lou Hilario performing in a special show at a restaurant that I went to in Manila, and so I've been inspired by a lot of different guys that I saw when I first started. I was 30 years old when I did my first magic trick.
So guys, start computing. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Well, actually, you mentioned Lou. Lou is he's known here in Manila as the Dean of Philippine Magic. So he's one of the on top of the food chain, if I may say so. So he's the Dean of Philippine Magic. But right now, it's pandemic. He went back to his province in Legazpi, Albay. And he's still doing performances here and there, but not that often anymore. Now, you mentioned you're not a full-time magician. You work for the Air Force. Now, how about Curtis? Are you a full-time magician, or do you have some other job that can you share with us, viewers? I don't know if some of the viewers here know that. I know. In my case, I don't know if you're a full-time magician or not, but can you please tell us more?
Yeah, I can tell you. I have always alternated between being a magician and being a trial lawyer. And
trial lawyer, huh?
Yeah, and I actually was a magician first, and like a lot of people, and then went to law school and did magic all through law school. And then went and worked as a lawyer and just did, because you can work as a lawyer during the day and do shows at night. That's not too hard. And then a showroom opened up about 5 years into my practice, and I decided to go be a professional magician for 8 to 10 years. And then wanted to come back to doing both. And so I did both for a while. Now it's more law because there are fewer shows to do, and that's kind of where I've been. I've been a full-time pro. I've been a part-time pro. Nowadays, I'm experiencing being an amateur and doing a lot of coming up with new tricks for other magicians and servicing the magic community. I've got a trick that's out. I've got a few others, and of course, there's been a bunch of DVDs and lectures and things like that. And it's all good, It's all it's a little bit different, but I think at the very heart of it, I'm always going to be a performer first, and I'm happy that the law is something that you can do if you are able to stand up in front of people and say something and be thinking about something else while you're talking. And it turns out that the skills that I learned as a magician have been the same skills. So that all works out nicely for me. So that and there's a lot of magicians who are lawyers, and they're well.
That I don't know.
In America, Michael Weber,
Oh, wow.
Simon Aronson was, John Bannon just retired, and in England, Guy Hollingworth,
Mm.
and yeah. So we all keep tabs on each other.
That's, that's good to know that you are a lawyer. Here in the Philippines, we have lots of liars. I mean, lawyers as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Anyway, I have a question here coming from Sefa Pita. Maybe this can go to you. Okay, this one's first for Glen. Okay, Glen, first from Sefa Pita. What is the magic effect you are most known for?
Pulling the banana out of someone's ear. Curtis is laughing because he knows that's true. Every time for all the years, I was a restaurant magician for 25 years straight. I was in at least one restaurant a week. And when I approached the table, I would always say to them, "Oh, hello." And then I would say, "Oh, I just met you 2 weeks ago." And they would look at me kind of funny. And I would pull a banana out of their ear and say, "Yeah, you're the person who had the banana in their ear." And of course, after that, I didn't have to say I was a magician, but probably known for pulling a banana out of an ear. Yeah.
By the way, guys, before I go to the next question directed to Curtis, I have someone here who wants to say hi to both of you. I'll bring him up in the camera right now. Please welcome. Who else? He is known as the boss. Here we go, boss. Boss. There you go, boss.
Hello, guys.
All right.
How you doing, Glen? Curtis, how are you?
It's
been
Ronnie.
ages.
Yeah.
Look, I'm in the middle of a meeting, but I just had to pause for a while just to say hello to you guys. You're looking good, Curtis and Glenn. I mean, you continue to defy Father Time. You look like a little boy. I miss you. And remember, you will never enter the country without you know what.
Macadamia nuts, chocolate covered.
Did you know that, Curtis? He cannot enter the Philippines without the nuts.
I didn't know that.
I,
I didn't know.
I, I've had him actually abandon meetings in Manila when he was in politics to come and meet me just to get the nuts.
That's
So
true.
you guys are both nuts.
We're both
We are
nuts.
not. But let me tell you this. I never really got the chance to say this, and this is the best opportunity for me to tell Curtis. I met Curtis. I had the great fortune of meeting Curtis in Las Vegas during the World Magic Seminar, and I don't think I was able to show you this, but I was like a fanboy. I was like meeting one of my coin gods, and I tried to be cool about it, but meeting you, Curtis, was really something else. And I just want you to know that you've always been a great inspiration to not only to me but to many, but this guy in particular. And I have all your stuff. I've studied them. I can't do 80% of them because only you can do it. But you are one of the true gentlemen of magic, and I mean, your magic is superb, but it's really the humanity of this gentleman right here. And I just wish that the pandemic is over. I would love to travel again and meet you again, have fun, and do some magic.
Yeah, that
So
sounds great.
from my
I remember meeting you, and you did excellent coin magic then. I hope you're still doing some of that. That was very impressive, and it was great for me. And yeah, I wish we could have had more time.
I know, but uh, this will end one day, and when it opens up again, that's the first thing we're gonna do. But you haven't aged a year or a day, Curtis. You look the same. I mean, people watching you now, you look like the same guy from your old DVDs. I
Yeah.
mean, what's up with that?
Well, I looked old early.
No, I
It's
mean,
the other way around.
Unlike me, who is old man trapped in a young man's body. Oh no, I'm sorry, a young man trapped in an old man's body.
Hey, Glenn, look at my hair. The white's out. Look.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It'll be like the next time I see you, it'll be like performing for a Q-tip.
Well, I don't know. Maybe my hair would be like a Chubster. I hope not.
Don't talk about hair, guys, please.
Chubster, that's okay. You're gaining face. You're not losing hair. You're gaining face.
Well, bald is the new sexy, man.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I just dropped by to say hello. Lovely to see you, Curtis and Glenn. Say hello to the beautiful wife. Don't forget my nuts, and I hope to see you very soon.
Okay.
Hey, young boys. God bless you. See ya.
See
Hang
you.
Thank you,
loose.
boss.
Hang loose. All right.
Bye-bye. Once again, that was the boss of Philippine Magic. Wow. And by the way, Glenn, make that 2 boxes of macadamia now. Oh, wait. Of course, you always give me when you
I
always go
do.
here.
I do give you.
Okay, again, guys. So, well, actually, I mentioned to Randy that you'll be guesting both on my show, and I asked him if he can drop by. So, well, that's about it. Again, boss, thank you very much for dropping by, and I hope to see you soon as well. So, let's go back to the interview again. There was one question coming from Seth directed to Glenn. Now, this time, I have another question coming from Seth. This time, directed to Mr. Curtis Cam. So, Curtis, here's the question. What made you decide to focus on coin magic, which is also my question? Are you a coin guy? Are you more of a coin guy? Okay, here I go.
I'm a close-up guy at heart. But, being a professional magician in Hawaii means you also do stage shows, either for birthday parties or for corporate engagements or in a showroom in Waikiki. And we all tend to do all of it. But even when I'm on stage doing a shadow box and dancing with the girls and all that, or doing birds, in my heart, I'm still a close-up guy. I think about magic like close-up magic. When I was a kid, I got into coin magic because, first of all, it seemed more magical to me.
Okay.
Cards were not a real big part of my life. I didn't play a lot of card games. I didn't gamble at all. And I had some really old books to learn from. And the old books, I don't know if you're probably not even old enough to remember, but the old books on card magic, they said, to be a card magician, you had to be able to do the classic pass.
Okay.
Which is a hard move to do when you're 11 years old. And it was like, well, if I can't do that, maybe I'll do coin magic instead. And it turned out that very few magicians were doing coin magic, even now. So it was easy to get recognized early by doing that. And I've just found a better relationship with the coins, I think. But yeah, I've got a whole storehouse of card magic that a lot of people haven't seen. We are publishing some of it. My friends from Chicago and I have a online magazine called The Disclaimer, and we're starting to do that. It's it's an interesting model. We're trying this out. It's you $6 a month, and for that month you get to download the magazine, and after that you can't get it anymore. And so if you don't sign up, or if you don't have friends who did sign up, you may not see that stuff. And
okay.
So I've got a bunch of card tricks in there. I've got some card moves. Frankly, if I'm working on stand-up in a parlor or even strolling magic, about a third of the stuff I do is cards, just like everybody else. There's so much good material out there. And of course, now the Spanish magicians are making everybody want to do cards, because that seems to be all they do.
You mentioned about Spanish magicians. Are you familiar with Luis Pedrahita?
Yes. He does.
He's a cool coin guy as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. And cards as well. He's just really good, and very creative and excellent on television. He really has that figured out. what coin magic looks good on camera in that setting that he has. Yeah, he's a wonderful magician. I have his book. I'd love to be able to talk to him, but I never have. There's a few
I think
others.
he's a very busy celebrity back in Spain.
Yes, but also Miguel Angel Gea
Yeah.
Juan Luis, what is it, Rubiales?
Juan Luis Rubiales.
Yeah, they're both excellent too. Yeah, if you ask any Spanish magician what is magic, it's card magic.
Okay, I still have some more questions here for you, but hold on. Let me just say hi to my friend all the way from Canada again, Jonathan Santiago. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for staying up. He's also a coin guy. And by the way, you mentioned Glen first. Okay, Glen, you're good friends with David Ginn, right?
Yes.
So, what made you stick to more on kid show entertainment rather than the restaurant thing gig?
When I first got into magic, I learned from Jack Takita, but that was the only person I knew about magic. When I first went to St. Louis with the Air Force, I joined the IBM and SAM there.
Okay.
And what happened was someone referred me to David Ginn's book, Professional Magic for Children. And I actually made my first show using his book as a guide. So that was a good thing to have him as a mentor through a book that I wrote. That I read, and I got into kids magic, and I found out that I'm very good with relating to the kids. One of the comments I get from a lot of people who see my show here is that you were real sensitive to the child, and you made the kids the hero. And I'm all about making the child, when they get done doing a trick with me, feeling real good about themselves. I don't like magicians who make fun of the kids on stage or tell toilet jokes or things like that. You know, it's all about making the kid feel like a hero, because I have a little saying: you never get a second chance to make a first impression. If your first impression on the child is a negative one, that's what he's going to think about magic for the rest of his life. If it's a positive one, he's going to look forward to seeing his next magician. So that's a little bit about how I got into the children's side of it. And in Hawaii, quite frankly, if you don't do kids magic here, it's very hard to become a full-time pro, just because in Hawaii, nobody goes anywhere without their kids. You in the mainland, people go out, they get a babysitter, they leave the kids at home. Not in Hawaii. Every single party, bring the whole family. It's not just the adults getting together, but they bring their families. So the kids market here is very, very good with the first birthdays, with the family parties, or just the regular birthday parties. And so it really has worked out for me in the long run here, being the kids magician.
Thank you very much, Glenn. By the way, Curtis, if you're not also familiar, I'm also into kid show magic here in the Philippines. So
yeah,
just like.
And what Glenn just said also applies to restaurants. You know, I've also done a fair amount of time strolling in restaurants, and I'm sort of the reverse of Glenn. You know, you come up to a table and, oh gosh, there's kids there. I'm looking for the adults. After having raised kids, I'm a lot more in tune with the way you relate to children than I used to be when I was doing kids shows when I was a teenager, and figured I didn't understand them, and so I've done pretty well with kids, as long as they're smaller groups. You know, I think they turn into a mob after about 5 or 6 of them. And then I leave it to the professionals.
They're gonna start grabbing your props. We call them grabbers. We start grabbing your props and things like that. By the way, guys, again, this is Let's Talk Magic, episode number 15. My name is Chubster. Together with the Conjurers of Waikiki, we have Mr. Glen Bailey and, of course, Mr. Curtis Cam. Now, Curtis, I have another. I have a comment over here coming from Mr. Robert Taru. Can we get the link for the disclaimer? Is there a link that you can share with us? Is it available online or what?
I
Maybe you
can
can type it in.
Yeah, it's a coffee site, KOFI. Let me see if I can find it for you. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just found the chat window, so let me take a look here.
By the way, I don't know if you're familiar with the name Robert Leroux. I think you he's got a book out. I think you contributed to the book. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's called Bounce No Bounce book.
Yes, absolutely. So that Robert Leroux. Yes.
Yes.
That's
He's actually based in Manila right now. No, he's actually based in the Philippines right now, but in Angeles City.
excellent. I remember that book. I have a copy of it somewhere around here, and that's one of the few places where I actually have a presentation for an illusion, a stage illusion that starts with the bounce balls.
I should have way back 1997.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's good to see you again. Let me see, where can I find this?
Okay. Another comment over here. I never imagined you doing stage illusions, Curtis. When I started the Magic in 2006, I've known you as a coin guy. Now, guys, here's the trivia for my next question. Throwback, Magic in Paradise. He headlines Magic in Paradise for 13 straight years. So that's where he performed those illusions. Sir, can you tell us more about that one? I mean, how was the experience about headlining an illusion? And where are the illusions right now? Are they gone or what?
That's very strange. They are changing a little bit, I think. And there are people that are still doing illusions. I know Franz Harari is still busy.
Yes.
And we'll see. I mean, I guess that's been the industry that's hurt the most by the pandemic. I know a lot of guys that I know that are illusionists are working cruise ships, and those are coming back. But even then, I mean, everything comes in waves. And first, you had to be a dove worker to be on stage, and then people wanted to see the big illusions. And then, on America's Got Talent, for instance, the judges initially were asking the magicians to do bigger stuff and do bigger and bigger stuff. And then what they didn't understand was that on a TV screen, it doesn't matter how big the props are, because everything's the size of your TV screen. And eventually, guys like Shin Lim turned them around to thinking, anything that we can show on the camera is the same size. And then we got guys like Eric Jones and Shin Lim on television, and now people are looking at mentalism, and they're looking at close-up.
It's a mixture of everything, something like that.
And there was a time when all the guys on cruise ships, all the cruise ships had a camera and a projection screen, and they wanted a section of where you did close-up magic. And so that's kind of taking the place of illusions. I don't know what's going to come next. I would not think that illusions would disappear completely, but I see a lot of the guys who used to do big stuff are looking at ways to do mentalism or close-up magic on stage. And maybe because of the pandemic, maybe the stages are going to get smaller. And in that case, all the stand-up stuff, the interactive stuff, the comedy stuff, I think that's going to find a venue first. There's still going to be David Copperfield, which is great.
Two thumbs up.
Yeah. There's going to be Chris Angel, I guess. I don't know. He had a big sale for a lot of his props. I don't know if those were the ones. Wow. I don't know what he's doing, but I don't imagine he's going to go away anytime soon. But you see a lot of mentalists like Colin Cloud and those guys doing well right now. So, I had a shadow box, a twister, a sub trunk, a origami in the show.
Well, I can't imagine you performing with doves.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it onto StreamYard. I just
Oh, you have some videos. But
yeah, I
you
have
know, but you know
videos.
what? You know what? I have the question, but again, something went wrong. Wait, I need to reboot my system over here. It's only 1 terabyte. Anyway, now with regards to performing, well, in my case, when I was young, when I started at the Magic, I grew up with shows from. I don't know if you're familiar with TV shows. It's called Wonderful World of Magic. It was hosted back then by Bill Bixby,
Yep.
and until I found out that those are excerpts from the pacifisms. So that's where I first saw Richard Ross, Ali Bongo, Norm Nielsen, all of the classic guys. So then there was a show on TV, local television, uh, Blackstone, Doug Henning, then David Copperfield. As soon as I saw David Copperfield, I told to myself, I want to be the David Copperfield of the Philippines. So I tried everything. I tried working with illusions, with dove acts, with parasols, until Glenn knows my personality when it comes to stage. It doesn't fit my personality. I'm more of a comical guy. So until I really found my niche into kids show and family entertainment, so that's where I'm doing good at right now. But yeah, I tried all of those, as in the way David Copperfield danced, the illusions, but it's not the Chubster. So the Chubster is, anyway. Shout out to my friend whom I met recently, Jon Kealoha from UK. By the way, yeah, I'll be catching up. By the way, I attended my first TITS. It's a Tricks and the Sticks convention, 3 day, last Monday. It was a 3 day convention for kids show entertainers in UK. And it was a very, very nice experience thanks to this guy, Kimos, and John, and of course, Gary Dunn. And I hope to see you soon, guys. And personally, now, Curtis and Glenn, questions for both of you. Since you are into restaurant magic and close-up magic, well, here in the Philippines, slowly but surely, there are also restaurant magician guys already. But the thing is, any good tips on how to approach a table? Let's say, do you approach them before they order, or once they're done eating, or how? I mean, sometimes it's hard. I mean, in my case, I tried it. It's hard for me. But if I try the Chubster series type, it's hard for me to approach the table. But when I try Chubster being myself, hey, it's Chubster here. Would you like to see a trick? Well, it's easy for me. But of course, there should be a kid or two. Now, in your case, Glenn maybe will be comfortable performing with kids. Now, in your case, Curtis, you might be performing comfortably with the adult audiences. Now, the thing is, how do you approach a table when it comes to performing restaurant magic? Who wants to go first?
I'll tell you what I always tell folks, and I've given this in my lecture. I'll ask people, magicians, what do you think the most important thing is to be a restaurant magician? And the answer is knowing the way the service is at that restaurant. So when I started doing magic, I started at TGI Fridays. I sat down with the manager to talk about the approach and when is the best time to do it. So when the clients first come in and they get the menu, is not the time to go over and do magic. You want to get the order. You want to get the order in, so that the waiter is now working on the order. Soon as the order is taken, then you can approach the table and you can do the magic there or between the salad and the main course. But when the main course comes, you need to get out of there right away, because they came for a good meal, and if you interrupt their meal and it gets cold, it's not good. So I would always do my magic during the time they're waiting for the food. And the manager liked that, because maybe the kitchen is backed up and they got to wait a little longer. Now they've had some magic, they forget about how long they were waiting. I never did magic at the end, because especially in a busy restaurant, when they're done eating, what do they want them to do? They want them to leave so they can turn the table for the next group. So unless the manager or somebody came to me and said, this table's, really want you to come over there, I would avoid going to a table when they were finishing their meal. And the second thing on that also is if they did give you a tip early at the beginning, that's good. But if you get a tip at the end, then the waiter thinks you got their tip, and that doesn't go over too well, and there could be some friction there. But the real reason you don't want to do it at the end is because if it's a busy restaurant, they want to clear that table and get the next group in there. So you don't want to hold them up from getting out the door.
Oh, I see.
So that was my approach. And of course, I would just look when I walked in. If I started at 6, I'd look around where people were with their meals, and then I would go to the ones that were waiting for the food or just got it ordered. And that's how I would start out approaching from table to table. One thing, and last thing I want to say is, not everybody wants to see a magician. Maybe they went there for a business meeting. Maybe don't let that get you down. Don't think, well, they don't like me. It's not a personal thing. It's just they went out for a different reason. And so just move on. Do a killer show at the next table. Make them feel bad they didn't see you.
How about you, Curtis? What's your take on that one?
Yeah, so despite what I said earlier, if you see kids at a table and they're waiting around, that's an easy table. I mean, you come up and you're going to save the parents from having to deal with the kids while they're waiting for something, and you just work for the kids, and the adults just will appreciate you for it. The hardest tables are, for me personally, the hardest tables are just tables of all guys. If there are women there, they tend to want to have all the experiences, and you can perform with the women, or you can direct your attention to them a little bit, and that's a little bit easier. I used to have magicians doing close-up magic, and I used to do close-up magic before my illusion show. And so there's
one of them.
Yeah. And Glen wasn't one of the team that I had to instruct, but he did have to instruct some of the other guys that were also like my backstage crew, but they were going out mostly to learn the close-up magic. And I gave them an approach to the table. It wasn't really like a restaurant situation, because all those people at the show had come to see a magic show mostly.
Okay.
So they would come up to a table. Would you like to see some magic? And sure, everybody wants to see magic. Tommy Wonder has suggested that you shouldn't ask that question. Do you want to see some magic? Right. Because the audience doesn't know how good or bad you are. And if you come up to a table and say, would you like to see some magic? They have to think back to the last magician they saw. And
Comparison-wise.
May not have been a good one, right? Because how else do you decide whether or not you want to see some magic? And if it wasn't a good experience, then you're going to get refused for no good reason, because they haven't seen you. So Tommy would get in very quickly under some excuse and do something, and then introduce himself. And I gave people a line at the table. I would come up to groups of people and say, hi, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's kind of my job. I'm the magician here. And right off, you're saying, look, I'm professional. I don't mean to be rude. And I'm not doing it for tips or anything, for money. You don't have to pay me, although eventually they would. That worked for me, and that works for most of my staff. So that's a good one. Anyone wants to use it, they can use it. I know Simon Lovell had no, I'm sorry, Steve. Simon Lovell had an approach where he'd go up to people and say, "Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, what you guys are doing, but you've just won first prize, and that's a card trick."
Nice approach.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Second prize is 2 card tricks. And he'd just get in that way, So I think the thing to do is to make them feel comfortable, and that the idea that, if you say no, it's not going to crush me. I feel horrible. So they don't feel obligated. And the more confident you are, the more likely they are willing to see you. And I would jump into something fast pretty quick, I would generally produce a coin off underneath something on the table. I would say, did they tell you there was going to be a magician here? And they say no. You say, oh, otherwise you would have looked. And you got to look if there's a magician. I look under their napkin and there's a silver dollar, and then we're off to the races. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much, Glenn and Curtis. Again, guys, you are watching Let's Talk Magic. It's episode number 15. My name is Chubster. If you guys are still watching and hanging in there, please don't forget to share the stream. And of course, like our Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions. And if you may, please press the heart emoji. Come on, guys, show some love to me and my guests. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, I do think I have the link for the disclaimer in the chat. Yeah, I saw it. You want me to put it up on the screen? Is it okay?
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know how people are going to get it. On the screen is fine.
Okay, maybe if I can put it here let me just see if I can copy it. Here we go. The thing is, everyone can go to that link. Is it okay with you?
Yes.
If they can all go to the link. Okay, I'm going to type in the link wherein you can find disclaimer, or you can find disclaimer. It's right over here. Yep. I'm going to type it in. You're going to go see the comment. There you go. So for those who are interested about disclaimer, you can go to this. That
right there.
If you're in chat, just click it in chat. If you can see it in the chat group, in the chat box, you can just click on the link. Or if you want, I can also put it in later on. Anyway, I know that some of our guests are raring to watch some of your performances. But we'll go to that one after this next question, that is coming from Mr. Seth Hapita. Again, Seth, thank you very much for being thanks for the shout out. Yes, Willie Chen, thank you. And by the way, Kimo, if you're still watching, what's the time in the UK right now? Okay. For both of you, how do you approach a restaurant to hire or book you for a gig? Do you approach them, or are they the one who approaches you? Or how's the process for that one? Do you submit resumes or things like that? I don't know if you're in the case of Mr. Curtis Kam, I don't know if still needs to submit resumes or what. Let's say if I am to approach a restaurant and I'm going to offer my services to do some close-up magic, how do I go about it? Any tips as well?
In my case, it was 50-50. I found out someone was looking for a magician, and then I through a friend of mine, Alan Arita, that's how I got into TGI Fridays. And then one of the guys from TGI, from Tony Roma, saw me at TGI Fridays and approached me. And then a former manager of the Tony Roma's took over the Sam Choi's Breakfast, Lunch, and Crab, and he said, "I'm not looking for a magician. I'm looking for you." And I did 5 years there with myself and Alan Rita, and also Curtis was filling in for us also there. But in a small island, word kind of travels, and then people see the value. The key is, and most of the magicians here don't know this, I think they thought we were working for tips, but we weren't. We were actually getting paid by the restaurant to be there. And so when people would say, do we have to pay you for this? I said, no, the restaurant is paying for us to be here for your entertainment. And then, like Curtis mentioned, that they would usually tip you in the end anyway, but it was never any obligation, or and he never used lines like, "Oh, if I show you another trick, does that mean I get a bigger tip?" You never talk about it. Don't talk about it at all. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But never make that a part of then you become a hustler, and I don't like that.
Or maybe, Glenn, after performing, you're going to go open up your coat, and it says there, "I work for tips."
No. Actually, when I first started, I did have a sign that said "tips appreciated." I took that down after the first couple of months. I didn't need it. And I have never used it since.
Yeah, I've seen some guy. Michael Lamar had a great tip line.
Okay.
He would start with the trick where you take a $2 bill and you tear it into two $1 bills and then put it back together. And And he would come up to the table and go, "Oh, you're not going to believe this. Look, a $2 bill. Some guy gave this to me at the last table."
Yeah.
And then he would do the trick. And then they know that it's okay to tip you. And there's been less subtle ways from other people. And yeah, it's not my style either. I never worked for the tips, and I'm lucky enough to be in the situation where I never had to. There's a book in America by a magician named Jim Claytor called Watch Closely. And it's a terrific book for if you're starting out doing restaurant work, because that's one of the things he did. And in it, he describes not only magic that he did at the tables, but he describes, he gives you the letter he would send to the restaurant to introduce himself. And he would give you the script for his presentation when he went to go talk to the manager. And he tells you like when to show up at the restaurant and how to find the manager. And then his wife, who was a clown, I believe, contributed an essay about how, you are not the target. So if you get a bad reaction, oftentimes it's because they had a bad day or they're having an argument and you misread the table and you shouldn't really be there. But it's not always your fault if you get anger from customers or if you have a bad reaction from customers. Yeah. And so that's a good book, and it's out there still, I think, but it's a terrific book, and I've recommended that to people. And then
what's the title again, if you remember again, the title of the book?
It's called Watch Closely.
Okay, guys, take note of that. Watch Closely, guys, the name of the book by Mr. What's the author again, sir? It's
Jim Claytor, Klyder.
Claytor, okay.
Yeah, and that was a real guide for me when I was starting out doing the restaurant work. And my only other thing that I say to magicians is that if you are going to approach a restaurant and try and get a gig doing strolling magic, be good, because the rest of us who are also coming to this restaurant, the thing I hear the most when they're saying no is, "No, we had a magician and he was awful." And you're messing it up for, even people that are better than you. And I know you got to learn somewhere, but it's expensive for all of us. So there are ways to get your chops together before you're out there declaring yourself to be a pro. And so if you are going to ask for work, and just be able to do it, and that's.
Well, here it's kind of different, and it's sad because sometimes when you approach a business establishment, restaurant, or maybe hotel, since you're the one who approached them, they'll just give you a free lunch. Then you'll be working for tips. So that's how it goes through. It's sad to say. So even the big name hotels, the big chain hotels, sometimes they'll just offer you free lunch or maybe $1,000 or 1,000 pesos, which is maybe equivalent to more roughly $20 for 4 hours for you to perform there and entertain the guests. It's not really not compared like in your place what Glen was saying. You're getting paid. Well, here you're promoting the restaurant and yet you're underpaid. So that's the sad thing about here in the Philippines. I hope that will change after the pandemic. Coming from golden advice coming from both of you guys, from Jonathan.
It's certainly dependent on your circumstances, and it changes from area to area. I know places where all the work is tip work, and there are other places where none of the work is tip work. If you are approaching a quality resort, where people are used to paying $100 for their meal, you want to make sure that your appearance is consistent with at least the staff.
Presentable.
Right. Yeah. And the way you speak and the way you treat the customers is entirely different. And you should be aware of that. There's another book by Jamie Grant in Canada, and he talks about how much to charge for a show when you're starting out. And his opinion, his formula is you charge whatever it costs to rent an apartment for a month.
What?
Yeah. He says, look, you're doing it for a living, and you charge that much for a show, so that even if you're doing one show a month, you are
You're all covered.
You're covered. And okay. And if everybody did that, then that would be the going rate. But it's a hard thing to do in a lot of environments.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I have a question from for Glen, coming from Sir LaRue. Do you mix magic with balloon animals? Yeah, magic with balloon animal magic, something like that.
Absolutely not. I do not.
Why is that?
I do not do balloons. I consciously decided at the beginning. I used to work at when I was working at the TGI Fridays. They had a balloon guy. I don't want to. If you do one balloon, you might as well quit doing the magic, because everybody in the place
Will be
wants the
asking for
balloon.
Right.
So I do not do balloons at all. I want the people, when they walk away from there, saying, I saw a magician tonight. They remember me as a magician and not as a balloon artist. So if they want to get a balloon guy to go around and do balloons on a different night, great. But I do not do balloons.
Well, sometimes, guys, you might be
for that reason. Just that I want them to remember that they saw a magician. One last comment: when you're doing restaurant magic, not only are you performing for the restaurant, but they allow you to give your card out. And in Hawaii, that was valuable for me, because half the people I performed for were local, and they were looking for someone to do their first birthday party or whatever. Now they've met you, they know, they feel comfortable to have you at their party, and they take your card. And so you're actually promoting yourself at the same time you're doing the restaurant magic for a bigger show on a weekend, or the next weekend, or 6 months from now, or whenever they're looking. But they remember that they saw you and they liked you, and then they hire you. I also I wrote a book called The First Birthday Party Planning Guide. And anybody who was pregnant or had a baby under 1 got this book when I was doing restaurant magic. And in it, of course, is my number and how to put a party together and what the good venues were. I've given a couple of thousand of those away. Cost me $1.25 to print each one, and I get a $300 to $500 show every time somebody bites on it. So it was well worth it. But again, restaurant magic, you don't get a whole lot of money, but you are promoting yourself, and it can open up the doors for you for bigger shows somewhere else down the road.
It works both ways, for the restaurant and for you and for the business.
Yeah, it's a win-win is what I try to call. Try to make a deal that's a win-win for the restaurant, a win-win for me.
Well, hopefully soon that will happen to Manila.
Most of the guys that I know, I think Eugene Berger said that can you make a living being a restaurant magician? He said yes, but not an interesting one. But you can make an interesting living being a restaurant-based magician. And it was using
I agree with that.
Card and to meet the people that you want to meet and get the shows outside of the restaurant. And a lot of guys use that model. It's just where people go to meet you. And that kind of almost justifies working for tips sometimes. But the people that are just that know you're just working for tips will not pay you what you want for your show.
And well, by the way, guys, again, first off, I would like to thank you both for agreeing again to guest on my program. And for those of you who watched the episode from the very, very start, I'm sorry for the technical problems that we've encountered. But once again, I'm very thankful that you're still hanging in there. And thank you very much for watching Let's Talk Magic episode number 15. Now, gentlemen, would you like to perform something for our viewers before we go on to the other questions? Maybe the younger one? No, not the younger one. Or else the older one will get mad at me. Okay, who wants to go first? How about the children's entertainer from Hawaii? Guys, put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Glen Bailey. I'm gonna put you in spotlight. Here we go.
Okay, so this is called the disappearing fish trick by Tono Nasaka. I've used it for years. I think it's a wonderful children's effect. So pretend you're all the kids. Here we go. I'm going to make the fish disappear right before your very eyes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and they are gone, 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 gone. What do I hear?
Ah,
What?
it's at the back. It's at the back.
No. I can make them come back again. Watch. It's not that easy. 1, 2, 3, and they're back again.
We don't
There we
believe
go.
you. We don't believe you. It's at the back.
No, you think I turned it like this?
You
Not
turned it
turn it
around.
around. The other
Like this?
way.
Oh,
Not
turn
that
it around.
way.
Okay, I'll turn
Yes,
it
turn
around. Here
around.
we go. I'm turning it around. How's that?
Yeah, mommy, stop turning around.
No, 1, 2, 3. See, the fish are gone. They are totally gone. Now, some
You're
people
just
think
turning
the
it
fish
around.
are,
Oh, what?
no, see, they think the fish are on this side.
Wait.
I want
I
to
thought
tell
it
you
was
what
at the
happened to the fish. I want to tell you what happened. It's a sad, sad story. I hope nobody cries. You see, the cat ate them, and that's why there's no fish in the fishbowl. Thank you.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Glen Bailey. Awesome performance as always, Glenn. Thank you very much. And you're looking good. No more tummy, huh?
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight this year.
Yeah, like in my case, no time to eat because no money for eating.
Yeah,
Joke.
right. No,
Anyway,
I cut out the
thank you
rice.
very much, Glenn, for that wonderful performance. We now go to our next guest for this afternoon, well, this evening already. Put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Curtis Khan.
Well, let me show you what I've been doing during the lockdown. I decided that I would work on some of the classics of magic, maybe change them up a little bit. And the first thing I started with was a coin trick, you know. And let me turn the camera so you can see what's going on. Yeah, I'll try not to show you the rest of the mess. There's an old classic trick where the magician takes 3 solid coins, 3 silver coins, makes 2 fists, performs the mysterious dance of the thumbs, and has the coin, one of the coins magically travels from one hand to the other. So that's what I'm starting with, okay? I'm not going to do it that way because I wanted to change things a little bit, and I realized I have this ring on, and what I thought I would do is use the ring to get the coins to come across. And yeah, see, it's sort of like a portal. The ring makes the coins travel from one hand to the other. So that's 2. I'll show you that now that you know what you're looking for. See, the ring goes in first, the coin goes in second, and the second coin goes in third. You just kind of press them into the ring like that until the ring is ready. It comes out, drops here, and then the coin comes out. So that's the 2 and 1. Now the last one's hard. You have to put the coin into the ring into the coin. No, that didn't work. Or I can put the coin into the ring, and watch now. Listen. You'll hear it travel across, and that makes all 3 of the coins. Of course, the hard part is this. You can squeeze like this, and you can get the ring to go across too.
Whoa.
Now, that's how it was at the beginning of the quarantine. About 6 months in, it got strange, and I got rid of the ring, and I thought I would show you what I started showing people what's going on in my head while that's happening. We have the 3 coins, and what happens is this: that first coin goes across. What's going on in my imagination is this. You see, the coin travels all. Oops, sorry. Rolled off the table. We'll do that again. The coin rolled across and became the ring over here like that. You see, that left us with just 2 coins. I'll do that again since that was a little bit of a circus show. Watch the next one. Slowly, it travels across, and now there's 2 coins. Now this last coin here is your last chance to see it happen. Watch the coin. It starts over here. It takes just another form, rolls across, and then shows up over here. And that's how they get across. I'll tell you what, with the ring, I did realize that if I put the ring back over here like that, I can get the coins to drop into the hand like this, get sucked into the ring, drop over here,
Ooh.
and I'll end up over here. And that's
Wow.
pretty much where I ended up at the end of the quarantine with the 3 coins.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Curtis Cam. That's super creative coming from Kyle Ravine, who's watching all the way from Singapore. Thank you very much, Kyle, for the comment. And of course, another comment. Yeah. And another comment from One Yap, looking good, Sir Glen. Nice to see you again, coming from Solomon Yap of DV Magic. Well, guys, thank you very much for performing for our viewers. Now, aside from that, in the case of Curtis, how long does it take you for you to create or to develop an effect? I mean, I know you have one out in the market right now, but in general, how long does it take for you to create an original effect, something like that?
It really varies. There are some things that I have been working on for years. The one that's on the market right now, I discovered the basic effect in a book by Henry Hay called The Amateur Magician's Handbook. And that was something I read when I was a teenager. And I've always loved the trick, and I've worked out different variations. But it wasn't until Kainoa Harbottle, a friend of mine from Hawaii, released his Victorian coins and glass routine that I found the missing part that made it work for me. And so when you put those two together, you get Echo, which is on the market now. And so in one sense, once I had that part and the concept of it, it took about a month to get the whole routine working. And then, but really it was a journey for 20, 30 years. Other things, once you've got a certain amount of moves and strategies in your mind, you just get an idea. And some things just pop into your head right away. And there's a couple of routines that I'm known for, and those took even an evening to write, and they haven't changed much. This coins across routine, I got the part with the silver ball first, and then I wanted a more normal coins across to go first. So that was an intentional, where I said, look, I have to do something that's normal but not ordinary. And then I did the weird one.
The weird ones.
So that's actually a true story. It started at the beginning of the quarantine, and it was because I said, look, I have time. I've done coins across for all the time I've been a coin magician, but I've never really thought about it as an effect, and how can I make this better? And then, and a little more abstract, I guess. And so the thing with the ball came first, and then I worked out the other. So it took about, I think it was all done in a month, but then, refining it took a while.
Well, from Palms of Steel to Palms of Steel 2, 3, and then became 4. Wow. By the way, how, Glenn, first, how do you handle hecklers, especially kids? Like what I'm doing, it's at the back, it's at the back. How do you handle kids like that?
Okay, most of my hecklers have not been kids; they've been adults. And
it's the other way around.
And so, yeah, it's the other way around. The kids they're not really heckling; they're trying to make it look like they know more than you, and you just do tricks where you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of them, and usually at the end you've got them won over. Yeah, but if it's a heckler at a table, especially if it's all adults, I usually just ignore the guy. These people live with him. They know he's that type of person. And as soon as you try to turn to that person to convince him, now it becomes between you and him. And you'll always lose in that situation. But if you ignore the guy and do really good magic for the rest of the table, they will actually tell him, hey, this guy's good, leave him alone. And they'll go to your side. But if you make it between you and him, then they're forced to take his side. If he gets completely out of hand, like I said before, I just end nicely, say, enjoy the rest of your meal. And I go to the next table and do the best show I can, making sure that everybody at that other table hears what's going on. So they'll all be mad at him when they go home that the guy ruined their chance to see everything that I was doing. So anyway, I try to avoid any direct confrontation with a heckler.
Well, in my case, since I am more of a comedy type of a type of a guy, type of a guy when it comes to performing. Well, sometimes if a nanny will be sometimes she knows all type of a watcher, like he's gonna tell his kid, I know how it's done. Nah, 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 nah. I'm gonna tell the nanny, excuse me, nanny, how old are you? Then she's gonna say her age, and I'm gonna tell, and you're still believing in what I'm doing as of the moment, something like that. You still believe in magic? You're 31 years old, something like that. Curtis, how do you handle her hecklers? Forget what I mentioned. Well, I told you.
You're not supposed to steal other performers' jokes, but I think when it comes to dealing with hecklers, it's it's a good idea to have some lines in the back of your mind that you would use in case you get heckled. And there are some standard ones that still work because, frankly, people don't get heckled that much. And if you do, then you might want to reconsider. Things like the old line. I remember my first beer, and things like that. Right? But you want to have them in the back of your mind and then never use them. One of the problems I've seen is magicians get ready. They expect a heckler. And then the first time somebody says anything, they're really mean to that person.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's like those old kung fu movies. You ever seen the martial arts movies? And the guy who's going to win, he's going to have to get really beat up first. He gets beat up first, right? The other bad guy gets some licks in, and otherwise you're not rooting for him. And nobody likes to watch a bully, and so the heckler has to become an annoyance to the audience before you deal with them. And I would say a lot of guys are just too eager to jump in on it because, frankly, the comeback material for hecklers is probably their funniest stuff, and it's basically because they're kind of angry. You should probably let the guy say a couple of things, and just like Glenn says, maybe ignore him. If he's funny, then use him, but let him interrupt for a while, and then deal with him once the audience is on your side.
Right.
Yeah. Because I've seen too many people be too eager, and it's not good for anyone. And then there's the other wisdom that hecklers just want attention, and some people say the best thing to do is give it to them. Guy yells out a line that nobody understood. You ask him what it was. And then if nobody laughs, then that's kind of it, right? And if people laugh, you ask them, they were pretty good. You've got another one? You want to do 5 minutes? And you bring them up on stage and you talk to them and you let them, give them the microphone. Let them try and entertain the crowd. These guys aren't able to do it. I know some magicians will go out into the audience and actually talk to the guy. And say, look, this guy really wants some attention from you all. Let's give him a round of applause. What's the problem? Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? So
as soon as
he
gets up stage, he gets crushed.
And you just be nice to him. And that's just horrible for most hecklers. On the other hand, there are just complete drunks that just want to say something that you don't understand. And then they want to go back to being drunk. and they're just ignoring you. And those people, they take a little more. You can go to town on that, because really, why are they there? And they are, they are annoying the audience as well.
You mentioned the magician stealing someone else's lines. What's your take on magicians stealing someone else's effect and assuming it's their brand, it's their effect? I mean, there are some guys who, let's say, in your case, you're a creator. What is if someone takes your effect and just put a simple twist and then he markets it as his own effect? What's your take on that?
Well, I have the luxury of not creating magic for a living. I think that's a very hard way to make a living.
Okay.
Because magicians just don't have money. It's a difficult thing. On the other hand, there are some guys that are really good at creating magic, and they don't sell first to the magic community. They sell to the top names in magic. And those guys are worth the money they charge. And I hope they all get paid what they deserve, because it's tough work, but it's great work. I just love doing that. People argue a lot about copyright law and how effects ought to be protected under copyright law. And the truth of the matter is, generally, there's not enough money involved in a magic effect to copyright anything, or to take on a copyright case. And you may have the right to sue somebody, but you can't sue him for much, and he probably doesn't have it.
Waste of time.
On the other hand, you can use some of the same ideas from copyright law when you're arguing about whether or not someone has created their own effect and whether they've made it different. And some of the ideas from copyright law are things like, is this the kind of idea that would have come around anyway? I think there's a difference between someone being the first to print the obvious and someone coming up with a genuinely new idea. And sometimes a small twist to an original idea changes it completely and actually makes it work. And sometimes it doesn't. And all of that is judgment call. It really depends on the specific trick and what the professionals think about it, what audiences think about it. I don't like people who are just in the business of creating. They think they're creating, and what they're doing is they're just going down a list and they're saying, okay, I could do this trick this way, I'll publish that. I can do this trick this way and I'll publish that. I can do this trick this way. That way, if anyone does this effect, I can complain that it's my trick. And I don't think that helps magic. And I don't think that helps anyone really. And it is creativity, but it's kind of a uninspired form of creativity. I don't think it adds a whole lot. On the other hand, you never know which of those 12 different methods turns out to be the good one. And, but anyone that could make a miracle out of one of the 12 methods you came up with probably could have come up with that method himself. I'm thinking. And, this is all my opinion. I know other people vary. I got into an argument recently with another creator about whether someone would be and it was just about in general. It was like the idea that if you have a small group of friends and you share ideas amongst yourselves, and you have time-stamped videos showing when it was this guy did this, and when it was this guy did that. If somebody outside of the group has a similar idea, or maybe even the same idea, can you say, look, we have discussed this in the group, and we discussed it 10 years ago, and therefore you can't release your product.
Okay.
And that just seems wrong, because if you didn't share the idea with me, how could I have gotten it from you?
Yes.
And if I came up with the same idea that you had 10 years ago, but you didn't tell me, you can't tell me I didn't come up with it. And
But that happens, right? That
well,
sometimes
yeah,
happens, right?
it happens. And how original is this idea? If I came up with it, maybe other people came up with it too.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you put it on video first and didn't show anyone except for like 5 guys. I don't think that does us any good. I think one of the ideas from copyright law is that credit for an idea is the reward you get for sharing it with everybody. That's why you share.
Mm.
And if you don't want to share, then you don't get credit, because it doesn't mean anything to those of us that don't know the idea. So it's weird. I generally don't think we should be making small, insignificant changes to other people's tricks and publishing them, especially for money. I think nobody agrees on what's an insignificant change. But I think it's kind of obvious sometimes. And I think most people agree. And for the people who are truly creative in the art, I tend to think that probably don't get too wrapped up about any one effect, because no one effect is the one that makes your reputation. And people will still come to you for other new ideas. So it's a long answer to a short question, and I don't have a definite answer for you. It would be better if
there are lots of gray areas, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's certainly better that if you don't copy other people. It's certainly better if you want to do something that someone else has thought of and published. And even if you came up with it on your own, contact the person, and they'll be happy to talk to you about it. Usually, there are some guys in the business that we all know that have gotten into trouble with things like that. But for the most part, the creators are kind of generally pretty generous about whether or not you can use their material. I am undecided about the current trend where a magician will say, look, I'm going to sell you this trick, and you can't do it on television, and you can't do it
No performance rights.
no, well, you can perform it for your friends, and you can
But
perform
no
it,
TV performance rights.
but you can't perform it on television shows without talking to me. And basically, it doesn't mean you can't perform it. It just means that, look, if we're going to be on the same show, I want the right to do it first. And if you're going to get known for this trick, I'm trying to get known for this trick. But frankly, if it's one of these tricks that you think is going to make your career, and you want to be known for it, then I wouldn't release it commercially. I don't see how that benefits anyone either.
There's no point.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people also, as far as becoming famous, becoming a professional entertainer, it's not the tricks that define you so much as your career, your character, and the quality of what you present overall. So unless they can, Harry Anderson used to believe this, unless they can copy you, they can't copy the trick.
Okay.
And yeah, and nobody needs two of anybody on stage. So I don't know. That's just the guidelines for it. I don't think there is an answer, because every variation of this that you can imagine has already happened. independent creation and people actually copying other people and everything in between.
Well, again, thank you very much for that answer. And yeah, a very long answer for a very short question.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for that. No, that's no problem. By the way, I know it's getting late on your place. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it almost 12:30 a.m. in Hawaii?
Yeah, but that's fine.
Okay.
We'll stick with you as long as you want.
I have a question here for you, Glenn, coming from Robert LaRue. How often do you make significant changes to your party shows? Do you have multiple shows ready to go? If you get a repeat booking, or maybe if the customers will get you twice for the same bunch of kids or something like that?
I have a standard show that I do in Hawaii. Of course, the chances of you doing the same audience or the same family in a year's time is possible. So I always ask if when I'm booking a show, especially like first birthday, if they've seen me before, and if they have, then I'll throw it. I'll keep some of the ones that I know are really good entertainment. Everybody's going to like it, no matter if they've seen it before or not. But I'll always add 2 or 3 other things they haven't seen to break up the show and have it look a little bit fresher and newer. So that's what I do. And when I'm doing tableside magic, I have about 30 different effects on me in my coat that I'm wearing right now that has 17 pockets in it that I had specially made in Singapore. And so I can do 4 different shows out of my coat. And so if you have a family that comes in that has seen me before, I'll go on. And I always have 1 or 2 that are real special that like gypsy yarn or something like that I only bring out in special occasions. Sometimes I'll sit at the table, do coin through the table, that type of thing. But yeah, I carry fresh stuff around with me, and I try to know my audience. And if they see me before, I'll show them something I know they haven't seen.
Thank you very much, Glenn. And I hope that answers your question, Mr. Robert LaRue. Now, a while back, going back to Curtis, you have a new item out in the market right now. It's called Echo. Can you tell us more about that one?
Well, that's the trick I was talking about earlier. It's the Henry Higgins up the sleeve. In the Amateur Magician's Handbook and in Louis Ganson's Routine and Manipulation, Henry says magicians are always doing with cards tricks they ought to be doing with other objects. And the trick he was talking about is the cards up the sleeve, where the cards travel to your pocket. He says if you do that trick with coins, when it gets to your pocket, they can hear it drop into your pocket. And it's a much better trick. So that's what I've been working on and off for years. He did it with a bunch of silver coins, and I changed it to the coins being all different. And it turns out that there's many methods to get that to happen, because you're in a natural one-ahead situation. And so in this trick, I bring somebody up on stage, I have her examine the coins, and then I place them all into a glass, and she holds the glass. We tap the glass with a pen, and then you hear a clink in my pocket, and then the coins travel, and I dump them out in her hand. She can see how many there are.
Maybe we can show them a video if you want. Can we show the video if you want?
Yeah, if you've got the video, I'll tell you that this is a performance from the Tricks convention. And it's funny that you said you went to Tricks and the Sticks. This is
that's the one in UK. I don't know the one where you're mentioning it.
This one is called Tricks, TRICS, and it's in North Carolina. And Scott Robinson puts it on, and it's a really interesting convention. I like it quite a bit because the final show is, those guys they bring in to lecture to the magicians. They do a show for ordinary people. They bring in a lay audience. And Glenn and I did this in our the conventions we put together. They bring in a lay audience, and they get the front seats, and then the magicians all stand in the back. And they get to watch these guys do a real show.
Right.
And a lot of times, some of these lecturers, they're not very good. when they're in front of a real audience. And a lot of times, the things that they say in their lectures just don't make sense until you see them on stage. And I was there. The time I was there, I mean, Ozzie Wind closed the show, and he was fabulous. Arthur Trace was on the show, and that was great. And I did Echo, an earlier version of Echo, and there was a woman who really wanted to be chosen as a magic assistant. She wanted to be up on stage, and that if you ask for someone to come up on stage with you, and one person really wants to be on stage, they're dangerous. You probably don't want to. You don't want to choose the person who wants it too bad. But
so that means that's a red flag already.
Yeah, who pick me? Oh, geez, you think you're funny, and you're just going to get in the way, and or whatever. But the show was going pretty well for me, and she seemed controllable, and I brought her up, and she immediately just jumped up out of her seat and said, "Oh boy," something like that, and ran up on stage and sat down on the bar stool. And she told me, "I'm excited to be up here." And my line to her was, "Look, I'm not even that happy to be here."
Nice one.
That's what you hear on this tape. It's my performance for her. So the video and audio is not great because they only have one camera at the back of the room. But I think it's a great moment. She turned out to be a fabulous spectator, and you'll see the last coin vanishes from my fingertips when she tinks the glass, and she just runs off the stage. So that's probably the clip that you got.
Okay. By the way, I'll be showing them the clip. Now give it thumbs up. I can see you backstage if it's the right clip.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, this is the actual performance of Echo by Mr. Curtis Kang. Enjoy watching. Here we go.
To be the eyes and the ears of the audience. Now, these nice ladies and gentlemen are very close, but if I come back over here, would you mind? Yes.
Just raise the volume of your device.
And your name?
Casey.
Casey, nice to meet you.
Oh, so nice to meet you too.
Yep. And I'm not even that happy to be here. Casey, here's the deal. I've got a bunch of other people's money in this glass. I'm going to ask you to take a look. Well, yeah, I will. Well, I won't give it to you, but I'll let you hold on to it. First of all, the glass, just hang on to that for a second. And as I hand you the coins, you can check them out and then drop them in the glass.
Okay.
That way everybody can hear us as we're making progress of some sort. That's the Mon coin, Japanese coin. Take a look. Is that indeed what it appears to be?
Yes.
All right, drop it in. This is a copper Chinese coin. You can see that's the Chinese characters on there for the zodiac. On the back, that's the end user licensing agreement. You accept the terms.
Yes.
This is a Thai coin, a blue Thai coin I got from a Thai girl. It's probably counterfeit, as was the girl. Take a look at the silver dollar, American silver dollar. We don't make them like that anymore.
Fantastic.
Very nice. And this is just a penny, American penny.
Penny.
It's larger than most.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. We have an odd coin. And again, hold on to the glass. They all look okay, right? They are the perfect instruments from which to make magic. And that's what we're going to do tonight. I am going to first of all, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it. Magicians never do that. I'm going to make the coins magically vanish, and you're going to do it too. And they're going to appear in my pocket. Now, I'm going to put this coin in here just to start, and you'll see why in a second. Casey?
Yes.
How many coins do you see?
4.
Place them in the glass like that. Yes?
Yes.
Would you hold your right hand out like this? That's good. Upstage hand, just like that. Don't let it drop.
I'm freaking out.
When you see something happen. This is our magic wand. That's the sound that makes the magic happen. Listen, there's an echo. If indeed, I'm going to pour the coin. How many coins went in?
4.
Loud, clear voice. How many coins do you see?
No.
Hold on. Check it out. 3 over here, that's 1. That's 2, that's 3. And if 3 coins are here, there should be 2 in my pocket. How many do you see?
2.
Okay, that didn't make a whole lot of noise. It fell in there without making a noise, so we'll try it again. Only this time you're going to get to do it. How many do you see?
3.
Did I steal one out?
No.
All right, hold on. Take the pen. Use the middle tip, just tap it. Listen. Up your voice.
What?
That's the same as 2 if you carry the 3. That makes 3 coins, yes? I've never been happier. We're going to do this here for Casey. Casey, we're doing this. 2 coins left, silver and blue.
There's no way.
I'm going to hide it in the glass like this. I want you just to think of one of the 2 coins. Choose one in your mind. Okay, don't tell me. Got it? Tap the glass. Which coin did you think of?
Oh, it's blue.
You thought of the blue? That's why the silver one is left. Hold on to that. Look, nothing over here, nothing here. Just this, oh, unless you wanted the blue one to stay. In that case, it would be the blue one here. And the silver one would be in my pocket with the other 3. So that's 4 over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, you've seen it before. You know what has happened. You know what's going to happen. Casey, the only question is when. Take the pen. And when you tink the glass, watch.
And that was Echo. Echo is available at your favorite magic stores, magic shops, Murphy's Magic, and of course, Cosmo Magic. Go get yours right now. Echo. Well, nice reaction.
That was Casey. That was Casey.
Oh, her name was Casey?
Yeah, it gets a good reaction otherwise, but seldom that good.
I should get her as one of my volunteers as well. Anyway, Curtis and Glenn, thank you very much for guesting and Let's Talk Magic. Before we end the program, I have one more question over here for Mr. Curtis Cam. This comes from Mr. Glenn Bailey. Oh, this comes from Mr. Robert Leroux. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up now. Curtis, can you give a brief overview of what and how NFT affects magicians?
NFT.
Bob, can you define NFT? Wait, let me see.
Non-fungible transfers?
No farting there. Now, Bob, if you can define NFT, I'm sorry, I'm at that loss. But anyway, let's hear from Bob if he's still watching. But I have a comment over here. Dream spectator. Yes, that's the correct term. Dream spectator.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Non-fungible tokens.
Oh my God.
Oh, thanks, Seth.
Yeah, no, I can't. I think only 3 people actually understand them, and I'm not one of those.
Maybe it's. I think Seth will understand what those are. Seth, what's that? Anyway.
They are a way to monetize a work of art by giving a digital token that is unique to that piece of art, and you can say that you own it, even though it can be readily copied.
Okay.
I understand that people that do graphic art have made good use of it. People that create physical art, sculpture, paintings, have also made good use of it. Other people have experimented with the idea and just created NFTs for random things, and they've actually made money at it. It's like the next new thing after Bitcoin, and I don't even understand Bitcoin, so I can't tell you what kind of, I don't think anyone can tell you what kind of effect it will happen. It will have. And I'm not even sure I know what kind of effect it is having on Magic. I know some guys have talked about selling NFTs to performances.
Okay.
If that is possible, I'm sure I owe Casey money. But so I don't want to think about it much.
Well, anyway, thank you very much, guys. Okay, last one. What's your tips for upcoming magicians? In Glen's case, for us kid show entertainers, and in your case, Curtis, for close-up entertainers. What's your tip on upcoming magicians, or any other tips that you want to give to the aspiring magicians or upcoming magicians?
Well, if they're upcoming, then of course they have to have a lot of material. If you're doing children's shows and you only are trying to do 5 or 6 tricks, which I've seen people get into magic and they want to charge the same as a magician who has a lot of tricks. But if you have a lot of material, and make sure that you do a lot of shows. The more shows you do, the more relaxed you become, the more polished you become, and your magic flows better, and you get your patter down. That's always a good thing. So if you're an upcoming magician, try to get as much material as you can. Be versatile. Don't stick with just one thing. If you're a children's entertainer, you want to have a lot of variety. And then try to get as many shows as you can, and continue to practice and do your shows, and be consistent when you do them. And when I mean consistent, use the same wording each time. If you need to change something, okay, consciously do it, but just don't wing it. Have kind of a script that you follow, that you can write out, and use that script when you do your show, so that you don't forget it, and it comes very naturally after a lot of practice. And smile. Show up looking professional. Don't show up in a t-shirt and jeans and think that you're a professional looking kind of guy. Like Chubster, he always, anytime you see Chubster, he's always dressed like a magician. People remember that, and I think we kind of get away from.
We're in virtual world right now. Only the upper part you can see, but the lower part you cannot see.
Yeah, I'm sure Curtis is wearing slippers.
I'm not even wearing anything.
But yeah, it's just an image that you want to create for yourself, and just keep at it. It's going to get better. COVID's going to go away. What it looks like a year from now, I'm not sure. But for the younger guys, there is a future out there for magicians. You're just going to have to wait for it to develop and get there. In the meantime, practice your art, practice your routines, and put something together that's fun. Make sure it's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Glen Bailey. How about Curtis?
Well, you guys have real practical advice, and it's good. Like you both said, flight time is essential, and you don't know what you're going to find out until you start performing. And but aside from the practical stuff, I kind of think the most important thing I can tell up and coming magicians is the most important skill that you will develop, and you need to develop this, is to see your magic through the eyes of the audience, because what they see is not what you're doing.
Mhm.
and that helps you choose an effect. It helps you tell a good trick from a bad trick, and it also tells you when a move is working, because a lot of people, especially in coin magic, they say, look, when I put a coin in this hand and I don't really, I can feel it, and they think everyone knows where the coin is.
Where's
And
the coin?
it's in my hand. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, and the audience sees it entirely differently, right? And a lot of times people are coming up with they go, oh, this trick will fool people, and then it'll really fool them because I don't use a blue colored deck. And
Mhm.
the audience doesn't know that, and they don't think that. And you're not making the trick any better by doing that. And you might make the trick better by doing something else. And I got to show my hands empty at that point. Really? Do you? Does anyone think the coin might be there? Maybe not. And the good news is that the audience will be nicer to you than you deserve. And the bad news is that the audience will be nicer to you than you deserve. And it's hard to tell when you're doing well, but you really got to listen to them.
Well, once again, guys, I'd like to thank you both for hanging on and for staying up late. I know right now it's almost 1 a.m. back in Hawaii, but still, thank you very much. Once again, Glenn, any final any shout outs to your friends in Manila or any special greetings? The floor is all yours.
I made a list. Kirby and Patricia Morrow found in
And if you have a
Polo.
list, I will charge you.
Yeah, okay. Alan Serrano, Leo Dini, and Ron Salamacaro. And
Ron Salamacaro.
Jovan, the magician who is a nurse in Bacolod. All of my friends back there, Boy and Chris Castro. Hello to all my friends, and I hope that by next year we'll be able to come back and do a medical mission again. We didn't get to talk about that much this time, but I really enjoy doing the medical missions in the Philippines, and also some of the shows that I've done with you guys going around in Manila. That's always been fun. I have a funny story I'm going to tell you at the end here. I was with Bob Festa, and we went to the SM, to the men's department, and this girl came running up to me and said, "You're Glen Bailey, the magician." Well, Bob Festa went crazy. He said, "How do you know that? How do you know that?" And he thought that I had the girl do that just to get him going. Reality was, it was your magic show the year before that the television people had come in, and you have like a public television show, and for a whole year they had been showing us doing the close-up magic at that show on the public TV, and that's how she knew who I was. So I've had a lot of fun in the Philippines, and a lot of unexpected things have happened, and a lot of great things with magic. And as you know, my heart is there with you guys, and I'm looking forward to coming back. And then maybe I can talk Curtis and going with me when things open up.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that people from Hawaii, when we go someplace else, we tend not to want to go to the beach.
Okay. Yeah. There are lots of those here.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to speak for everybody, because there are guys that no matter where they go, they got to go to the beach. They get itchy if they don't go to the water every day, But yeah, for the most part, no, we want to see something different.
Yeah, Curtis, any final words? Any final shout outs or what?
Well, I just want to thank you and everybody else for changing the time so we didn't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to do this.
No
show.
problem with that.
And for paying attention. If everybody else, if this didn't happen, I would have been sitting at home at this time thinking these thoughts to myself. So it's nice to be able to tell them something.
And thank you very much, guys, for trusting me. I'm just a nobody, not trying to be somebody. I just want to keep myself busy during what's happening right now. Like what Glenn and you mentioned a while back, I hope this pandemic will end very soon, so we can all get back to our normal lives, attending conventions, and hopefully seeing you guys, maybe here in Manila or maybe in some conventions. So again, Curtis and Glenn, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope to all the viewers you enjoyed watching tonight's episode of Let's Talk Magic, episode number 15. There's once again the banana, which is Glenn is known for. That's one soft banana you have there.
No.
Never leave home without it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's put it in your 70 pockets. But I know some of Glenn's photos during his visits in Manila. He was talking about the Bacolod, the thing he did a lecture there. And here's a photo of that the convention. His mini lecture for the Bacolod guys. And of course, during his IMC gigs, Curtis is always goes to our club meetings in Manila, the Inner Magic Club. So there he is. And here are some other photos. Yeah. And of course, another one. I think this photo was taken during the 2-minute magic competition. Of course,
Yeah,
it was sponsored by
those were the
Glen.
winners.
Yeah, those are the winners for that particular competition. And of course, during the medical mission, being the doctor of magic, of course, he loves performing while the other patients are waiting for their turns. So this guy named Glen Bailey, the doctor of magic, he goes around approaching people and of course performing magic, making those sad faces turns into happy faces. I think so. Yeah, lots of kids, as you can see, and he enjoys being in the Philippines. And this is Glen when he's performing kids show magic. Oh, where's that? Hey, photo. Oh wait. Yeah, there you go. And of
That's
course,
a library show.
a library show. So I want to tell you, I wasn't born yet when Glenn started performing.
Now, Curtis remembers this because that was my stage show I had with the first. That was in 1985.
Wow. Okay, I'm born by that time.
I remember
So-
those promo photos.
So those were the days
Yeah.
of Glenn Bailey. So again, Curtis and Glenn, before I wrap things up, can we do one? I'll just do a screenshot. Can we just look at the camera and smile? Sorry, I have to do this. Wait, I'll pull the full screen. Everybody, look at the camera in 3, 2, 1. Wait. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Sorry, my bad. It's okay. Definitely that's my bad. Okay, hold on. I wasn't able to do the screenshot. Ay, wait. What's happening here? Okay, hold on. Let me do a new one. I don't know if I'll try it one more time. If not, I'll take it out now. I don't know if StreamYard allows this.
It did the same thing.
No. I'll just do the screenshot on our on the replay. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. So once again, our friends from the Conjurers of Waikiki, Hawaii, again, Mr. Glen Bailey, and none other than Mr. Curtis Cam. Once again, thank you very much for your time and agreeing to the lecture. Let's Talk Magic, episode number 15. So once again, guys, I'll be saying bye-bye to you as of the meantime. I'll put you backstage while I do my opening spiel because I wasn't able to do it a while back. But anyway, so once again, Glenn and Curtis, thank you very much. And of course, again, how do you say thank you in hello in Hawaii? That's mahalo, right?
Mahalo.
Oh, mahalo. Okay. From the bottom of my heart, mahalo to you both. Thank you very much, Glenn. And of course, Curtis. See you guys.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Curtis Cam and Glen Bailey. It is episode number 15 of Let's Talk Magic. For the boo-boos that I've been doing for the past few minutes, and of course, for what happened during the start of the program. But anyway, let me go through what I was talking about during the start of the program. Once again, I wasn't able to show you our presenters. So guys, again, for those of you who've been supporting Let's Talk Magic, This one's for you. Let's Talk Magic is brought to you by the Philippine Magic Scene. For the latest news and updates on Philippine Magic, please don't forget to go to their Facebook page, Philippine Magic Scene, and don't forget to like the page, Philippine Magic Scene. Lasco Home Security and Automation. We make high-quality automation affordable for every Filipino. Lasco is available at Lazada. Lasco Home Securities and Automation. For the best Mami and Siopaw combo in Metro Manila, Mamon Look Restaurant, serving the Filipino craving since 1920. You may visit their store at 408 Quezon Avenue in Quezon City, and they're available via your favorite delivery apps, Mamon Look Restaurant. The Prestidigitators, the movers of Philippine Magic. Visit their website at www.theprestidigitators.com or Facebook page, The Prestidigitators, movers of Philippine Magic, One World Alliance, The Prestidigitators. And finally, DV Magic Shop, serving the serving the needs of professional magicians and hobbyists. DV Magic Shop, 463 Unit C, Flores Extension, Sampaloc, Manila. Check out their Lazada and Shopee pages, DV Magic Shop. By the way, special shout out, birthday greetings to Marseilles or Fermar Zamora. Happy birthday to you. And of course, to one of my newest friends, Ken Scott from the US, Kichu Entertainer. Happy birthday to you. And what else? Okay. A while back, I was talking about the tits or the tricks and the sticks. That's TRIX, the tricks. It is a kid show convention that happened in the UK. So I hope you can still hear me. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. So, yeah, thank you. So it was hosted by, again, John. Tricks and Sticks. There's Christopher Barnes, of course, Ken Scott, Barry Mitchell, all from the US, and aside from the other guys. It was hosted by these two wonderful gentlemen, Jon Kealoha, and of course, Gary Dunn. And like what I've mentioned, I was lucky enough to be a volunteer for Ken Scott's magic show during the convention. And of course, lecture coming from Christopher T. Magician, Mike Bent, and of course, Barry Mitchell. And who else? Celia Scott. We also have Keith Fields and Lady Sarah. And of course, the one and only Mario, the maker, magician. So again, it was a fun day. It started in Manila at 9 p.m. and ended up at 8 a.m. the following day. So that's why Jon mentioned a while back that I should catch up on my sleep, because for the past 3 days, I was sleeping around 8 a.m. in the morning. Anyway, my guest for next week, don't forget, we'll be guesting our friend magicians who are based in the Philippines, and that is Nicholas and, of course, Mr. Bob LaRue. That will be happening next week. That will be on Saturday, June 5th, and if I'm not mistaken. Broadcast time will be at 10 p.m. So once again, thank you very much for joining in. Let's Talk Magic. Again, coming from Sefapita, before we go, again, thank you very much, Glen and Curtis. That was a great episode. And of course, coming from our good friend, Salamat. And yes, bananas coming from Mr. Bob LaRue, and Alan Soriano says, good evening, Sir Glen. And of course, by the way, Glen, I have Alan Soriano, who's the president of MAGFI and is a member of Salamanqueros. Well, I'll message you something, because Salamanqueros will be celebrating their anniversary this coming June. So I need to talk about that. And of course, coming from Bailey, thanks and everyone for coming in. So once again, guys, my name is Chubster. Let's Talk Magic. Once again, next week, we're going to go back to our regular schedule at 10 p.m. Good night. God bless. Stay safe. Don't forget to wear your mask, your face shield, stay sanitized, and see you around. Bye-bye, guys. Chubster, out of here.